Willkommen, Damen und Herren, zum Vegan Finds Oktoberfest Edition. Welcome to Vegan Finds, where we're going to turn this into this Kartoffelklosse with a vegan mushroom cream sauce. These dumplings are stuffed with mushrooms, so stick around. We'll show you how to make them in a flash. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cook our potatoes. And unlike other times that I've cooked potatoes, we're going to keep the skins on in the cooking process, and we're going to simmer them until they're fork tender, and we could just peel the skins right off as opposed to peeling it. We don't want really the water to penetrate into the potato and turn it kind of mushy. And the potato will absorb a lot of that water, so we want to kind of keep the potato intact and then peel it off and have all that fluffy goodness. So I'm going to set up my stove right now. I'm going to pop these in. You start them cold. You don't want the water to boil, just to simmer. Just to simmer. Simmer down now. Simmer. So I'm going to do that while the water is going to be boiling. I'm going to start prepping the mushrooms. Okay, so I'm going to just basically chop up these mushrooms. I've got about I want to say 200 grams here, almost a full 10-ounce package of mushrooms. You just want to chop them up. You don't have to be neat about it, because this is going to be in the filling, and you want to get them somewhat small because it'll be easier to stuff our dumplings if the mushrooms are not ginormously huge in size. And this will cook pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop these up. I'm going to add a half an onion, diced finely as well, and 2 cloves of minced garlic to our pan. I'm going to add a little bit of the Trader Joe's Umami seasoning instead of salt to give it a little extra oomph flavor, mushroomy flavor to this. And after that, our potatoes should be ready to come out of the water. They've been bubbling away. I did say you shouldn't boil them. That's once they're dumplings. I got it in my head that I'd already made them, so the dumplings you want to simmer. The potatoes you can boil, but definitely keep the skins on, because again, for the reasons that I stated, which is you don't want them to get all mushy, which can definitely happen if you skin them ahead of time. So once this is all chopped, I'm going to put the onions in the pan first and start cooking. So this looks like a good amount. Hopefully it doesn't shrink up too much. We shall see. And I shall return with the pan and the onions in the pan ready to go. So I got some butter melted. I'm just going to add both the onions and the mushrooms into our pan right here. We're going to let those cook down for a little bit before I add the garlic to this. Once I add the garlic, I'm going to add other spices, the mushroom umami powder, plus some smoked paprika, some onion powder, and a little bit of probably my go-to truffle salt. I just love this stuff. It actually tastes like truffle, which is, getting that from a container is really rather remarkable. So stick around. Once this cooks down a little bit, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so our mushrooms and onions have started to cook down. I'm adding 2 cloves of garlic. I'm running it through the press. I just find it's easier. I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Some people will argue it does. My palate's not quite that sophisticated to be able to tell the difference between minced and pressed garlic. So we got that in. Now I'm going to start adding our spices to this. So I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of umami powder to this. Umami powder has a little bit of salt in it already, and since I'm adding truffle salt, I'm not going to double dip on the salt. Some smoked paprika. I'm just going to add probably about another half a teaspoon of that. You don't want too much, and we're going to go with that half a teaspoon. Oh, I wish you could smell this, of the truffle salt. And that's it as far as seasonings go. If you don't want to add the umami powder, or you don't have a Trader Joe's by you that has the magic mushroom powder, as we like to call it here, it smells fantastic. You could use Tamari to keep it gluten-free, soy sauce if you're not gluten-free, coconut amino acids if you're soy sensitive, if you're nut allergies and you can't have coconut aminos, then I actually don't know what you could use as a substitute. I would just use a little bit of salt and pepper, and just stick with, the smoked paprika, maybe a little bit of cumin to go along in there as well. That would be a good addition. The filling is basically done. I'm just going to take a teeny tiny bit to taste it. Yummy. Really good flavor. Okay, so I'm going to shut that down. The filling's done. Now the next thing we got to do is deal with our potatoes. I'll show you that in a moment. So our dessert's in the oven, and now I got to peel the potatoes here. As you can see now, they're still really hot, but I'm able to just peel them off pretty easily. I really do just want to eat the skins. It's my favorite part of the potato. So once we've peeled this off, I will show you the mashing and the making of the dumpling step. Okay, so we are going to mash our potatoes. See, they mash pretty easily. Now we had about 1.5 pounds potatoes here. These were Yukon Golds. And to this we're going to be adding a little piece of skin there. A half a cup of potato starch. Now you might need more potato starch, you might need less potato starch. It all depends on how wet your potatoes are and how quickly it absorbs the starch. Okay, so we're going to be adding a pinch of nutmeg, which is very traditional. Nutmeg is a very noticeable but unnoticeable type of flavor to it. Now I'm going to add some of our truffle salt to this. Probably about, let's say, 2 teaspoons. And now I'm going to start with a half a cup. If I have to add more, I'll add more. What we're going to do is we're going to run a test dumpling to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. And basically I'm just going to mix this with a spatula. See if it comes together in a dough-like manner. Hopefully it will. I mean, I could use my fingers, but I don't like to. So stick around. I'll be back in a blink. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start mixing our potatoes and our potato starch with the salt and the nutmeg. Now, if you don't have potato starch, you don't have access to potato starch, you can't find potato starch, you can use arrowroot starch. You may have to adjust the amount that you use, because let's be honest, potatoes like potatoes, so the arrowroot starch may end up being different. Feels like the dough is coming together here quite nicely. I'm going to have to do a test dumpling, make sure it doesn't fall to pieces. That has happened to me on more than one occasion, and it is oh so embarrassing. Don't touch that! Doris is sneaking some of the filling.
Very good.
Should be. Okay, let's see. Alright, so I would say this is slightly bigger than a golf ball. Now, you're wondering, how do I fill this? I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Can you get me a teaspoon or something? Basically, I'm going to make a little pouch inside your dumpling, like anything. My kingdom. Oh my God! How am I going to get? I'm not going to get any.
Oh, I thought it was to make the. Okay.
Okay, people. I just wanted to show you. This is the spoon.
The hole.
The spoon that she gives me. The scoop.
I thought it was to make the hole.
It's not.
It was to make the hole.
Okay, so you just kind of gonna fill this in like so, and then you just kind of use your thumb to push it in, and then slowly close it over your dumpling, and that's it. So I'm going to set this one aside. Actually, I'm going to do a test run. There may not be enough filling in there. We'll check it out. I'll show you what it looks like, and then I will fill these if they don't need more starch. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so our test sample came out perfect. So we're going to continue by rolling, making your little divot like so. You want to make sure you don't poke it all the way through the bottom, and then filling. This is why I said chop your filling small, so it actually can fit inside the dumpling. And then as you're going, you kind of just pushing it down and going around until you can seal it up. If for some reason you can't quite get it sealed, take a little extra dumpling dough, pop it right over the hole, give it another roll, and that should be that. You should get anywhere from 6 to 8 of these out of your batch. If you get more, great. If you get less, don't worry about it. I'm going to keep rolling these out. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put a pot of water, get it to a simmer, and then slowly simmer these. When they float to the surface, that's when they're done. I'm not going to show you that cooking process because I just told you how to do it. Should be pretty self-explanatory. And I'm going to keep rolling these, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so our Kartoffelklosse are ready to be put into our simmering water bath. They'll go until they just float, just like a regular dumpling. Use a slotted spoon to take them out. Then I'm going to show you how to make a quick sauce. They don't need a sauce, but I have a leftover filling, so I'm going to turn that filling into a sauce by just adding a bit of vegan cream to this, and that's basically it. So I'll be back in a flash to show you the final finishing touches. Alright, so here we have the leftover stuffing for our Kartoffelklosse. Now, you don't actually have to make a stuffing for these dumplings, but I feel like a plain potato dumpling, even with gravy on top, is okay. It can always be better, and stuffing it always makes it better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add some vegan half and half to this. I'm just going to let it simmer, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to let it simmer and stir it around, adjust the seasonings, add a little bit of black pepper to this, and that's going to be our sauce. So the potatoes are now in the pan simmering. We're waiting for them to finish off. This should be done momentarily. I'll show you the finished product in a moment. So you can see our sauce has really started to thicken up. The dumplings are almost ready. So once I'm going to shut the heat off of this. Once the dumplings are ready, I'm just going to drop them right in here. Serve them up like that, and we're good to go. I'll be back with the finished product. Okay, so there you have it, the finished product, Kartoffelklosse with a vegan mushroom cream sauce. So if you like these recipes, please click subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, tell your friends, share with your friends, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok. Just follow us. Well, maybe not from the grocery store. Don't do that. Anyway, be healthy, be happy, be safe, and enjoy. We'll see you next time on Oktoberfest week.